Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Electric Viking. Fantastic to see you here. If you've already subscribed, thank you. I really appreciate your support. It is what keeps this channel going. Now, I think I've made more videos about BYD than anyone else on YouTube has over the past 12 months, but I've only been going for just over 4 months now. So you can see I'm a big supporter of BYD. Now, Seeking Alpha has written a very well-researched article on why BYD's vertical integration makes it the best EV pick. Do I agree with them? No, I do not agree. Tesla and BYD are the two best stocks, period, in the world, because both of them are disrupting numerous different industries. And I mean numerous industries. I mean automation, electricity, batteries, battery storage, the auto market. That's just the start of what they're disrupting. If we go into more details, you can look at insurance, semiconductors, EV parts, robotics. The list goes on and on. So let's talk about BYD. Well, BYD has a full range of cars, buses, trucks, and other utility vehicles that are electrified, and they're sold in markets all around the world. BYD doesn't sell cars in many markets other than China. It sells cars now in Norway. It's about to sell cars in Australia, New Zealand, and soon after that, the UK. And I believe Europe is coming soon after that. In fact, BYD has hinted to the fact themselves. They're also the world's fourth largest battery manufacturer. But one of their key advantages is having control over sourcing of batteries and chips to supply to their auto model ranges. They make the chips. They make the batteries. Therefore, BYD should be affected by this current insane chip shortage less than any other car manufacturer on the planet. No other car manufacturer makes their own semiconductor chips. None. Therefore, BYD is in a huge position to disrupt the market right now. I'm not talking 5 years away, I'm talking right now. Now, BYD are in a stable financial position as well, unlike companies like NIO and Li Auto and XPeng, much more stable financial position. They're also in a position to invest in future growth. And the company has key strategic advantages over Western competitors. Seeking Alpha reports BYD Auto has been going from strength to strength this year. The key reason why BYD Auto should outperform its rivals is vertical integration. BYD is a major battery and chip manufacturer for use in its autos and to OEM to others. Now, we see more news every day of rivals having to cut back production because of chip and battery shortages, whether this be Volkswagen, Ford, Tesla, Stellantis, and on the list goes. BYD's rivals are having major problems with chip shortages. BYD is reportedly in discussions to OEM these products to its competitors for any production surplus to its now in-house use. Meanwhile, the company's key business, selling autos, continues to boom. More impressively and more importantly to me is that their percentage of the vehicles that they sell continues to change. The percentage now of their vehicle sales that are plug-in battery electric or full electric is nearly 80%. So I believe within 24 months, 100% of BYD's vehicles will be electric. Now, the company will continue to increase its market share at the expense of its supply-constrained competitors. At the same time, they have strongly refreshed their product range this year, massively refreshed it. Their new models are way better than their old models in numerous ways. I've reported on many of those ways in many of my other BYD videos. I'll put links in the description below to all of my BYD videos. You can go through those and see all the different ways that BYD has massively improved their vehicles that are coming out this year and also next year. So what this means, right? They now have new models to offer against their supply constrained rivals. What is this going to mean, right? BYD can make these cars, they can make them with new models, and their competitors are struggling to just build cars. The Blade battery. This new battery with long, thin prismatic cells has received very positive interest from the industry. Having lithium iron phosphate chemistry makes it economically priced. BYD sees lithium iron phosphate, or LFP, as the future in comparison with NCM nickel cobalt manganese batteries. They have backed this up with a major new lithium contract recently signed with a Chinese lithium miner. Now, BYD is clearly right on this. There is no question that they're right. Even Tesla, which sells primarily NCM chemistry batteries right now, vehicles with NCM chemistry batteries in them, except for its base model vehicles, which use LFP batteries, agrees. Elon has said that he believes within the last few weeks, he said that the future of the automotive industry will be LFP battery cells. He said it himself, even though they're selling NCM chemistry battery cells. So if Elon Musk is saying that, then I think there's a pretty good chance they're correct. Well, why are they correct? Numerous reasons. The number one reason is cost. Number two, safety. Number three, the amount of iron, right? The amount of iron. There is a massive amount of iron. Cobalt, manganese, nickel, not so much. So you can see the writing is on the wall. Now the Blade battery has passed new Chinese battery penetration tests for fire regulation safety. It was driven over by trucks. It was smashed up. It still worked. It was amazing. And that is important for consumer confidence. The company claims it will have a lifetime range of 1.2 million kilometers based on charging potential capacity, and its lower weight is advantageous. For the new Tang SUV, for instance, the company claims a range of over 500 kilometers on one charge. One of the previous issues with lithium iron phosphate batteries was their energy density was very poor. That energy density has significantly improved now to be about 50% of the energy density of similar NCM battery cells. But of course, the batteries are far cheaper, meaning that now they are actually competitive. And there's been numerous rumors of talks with Tesla using the Blade battery for their new lower cost Model 2 planned for the Chinese market next year. It should be noted that in August, BYD denied these rumors. However, Tesla currently sources lithium iron phosphate LFP batteries in China from CATL and NCMA batteries from LG Energy Solutions. A third battery supply in China is very likely. Remember also, those are not the only companies that Tesla gets batteries from. Panasonic also supply Tesla with batteries, and Tesla also are making batteries themselves now. So that's 4 different avenues for batteries. Tesla has publicly said they want as much battery supply as they can get, and they're willing to take it from whoever will give it to them at a reasonable price. Therefore, it's extremely likely BYD will sell these Blade batteries to not only companies that it's been confirmed with, such as Toyota, but also to Tesla. Now, it's also thought that the Hyundai Motor Company is likely to be one of the earliest to take up the new product. There have been rumors of talks between BYD and Apple as well on the long-rumored Apple car. However, Apple has been linked with just about every EV manufacturer. Now, Hyundai will start using the Blade battery in their vehicles. Well, I can tell you why. Hyundai just spent $1 billion recalling their batteries using LG Chem technology, right? Because they were actually lighting themselves on fire. And guess what? BYD's Blade battery doesn't do that. It basically doesn't do that. Hyundai, not only did it cost them $1 billion to recall all these vehicles and replace all the batteries in them, it was also like getting egg on their face. It's a huge embarrassment for the company, and they want to avoid that. How do they avoid that? Get a lithium iron phosphate battery. What's one of the best lithium iron phosphate batteries on the market? The Blade battery. Makes sense. The Blade is cited as having a cell energy density of 160 watt per kilo compared to the CATL product that Tesla uses, which has around 125 watt per kilo. So energy density in BYD's Blade battery is quite a bit higher than CATL's lithium iron phosphate battery competitor. Now, BYD is thought to have about 15% of the battery market in China, behind market leader CATL. It currently has 7 EV battery factories in China. It is expected that it will be constructing a battery factory in Europe very soon, and the company obviously already has bus factories in Hungary and France. BYD began life as a manufacturer of batteries, and it was the first company in China to manufacture lithium-ion batteries. Now, if you didn't already know this, guys, there are actually 156 mega battery factories in China, and only 22 in Europe, and 12 in the United States. So, China has 156 mega battery factories. The United States has 12. That is scary. This is another indicator of where the focus of future EV manufacturing lies in the world. It lies in China. Chips with everything. German company Infineon is the established market leader in auto chips. BYD is the young upstart. IGBT, which are insulated gate bipolar transistors, are the key chip type for EVs. They are ideal for the switching in high power circuits required for EVs. BYD came out with a new IGBT product last year, and they are thought to have gained 20% now of the China market for those chips already. That's enormous. The total market in China alone is predicted to double to 11 billion by 2026. By 2030, what's going to happen? Well, we might see another doubling again to around about 22 billion. Massive. Elon Musk lamented recently the shortage of chips his company was facing. He called out Renesas Electronics Corp and Bosch in particular, and this explains why the company is itself looking to manufacture chips. It is trying to catch up with BYD in this area, who are their biggest competitor in China. As semiconductors is an area the Chinese government has listed as a priority area for self-reliance in what it sees as a critical industry. Of course, intervention by the government is seen as a threat to investing in Chinese companies in general. However, BYD is unlikely to be affected by this. The government's focus seems to be on IT companies and those with monopoly control of markets. Indeed, Chinese media has recently reported that the government specifically wants to encourage technical development and manufacturing of computer chips and clean energy products. This is exactly what BYD does. Government intervention may work out as a positive for the company. Last year, there was an incredible 22,000 chip firms set up in China. 22,000 chip firms. Amazing. The government has a target to increase the proportion of semiconductors manufactured locally to 70% by 2025, up from the current 30%. Now, how does the government do this? Well, they give you money. They give you incentives. They give you factories. They give you land. In June, BYD got shareholder approval for the spin-off of BYD Semiconductor through a launch on the Shenzhen Stock Exchange. In August, it received approval from the Shenzhen stock market authorities for the listing. This listing is imminent. Now, BYD Semiconductor has had two previous funding rounds which raised 2.7 billion yen, only $400 million US. Major investors include some of the giants of Asian technology. Lenovo, SK Telecom, and Xiaomi are amongst them. At present, the semiconductor business is a very small part of BYD Auto's business. In 2020, the company as a whole had operating income of 156 billion yen or 23 billion US dollars. The semiconductor division had operating income of 216 million US dollars and net profit of 60 million yen, only 9 million US dollars. In spite of that, the potential in this area is enormous if the company can get it right. It can both be a meaningful contributor to group profitability and a means to secure higher market share for its vehicles. They were able to raise IPM and IGBT chip prices by 5% last month, and it is thought more substantial price increases are in the pipeline. Of course, this makes sense. There's an enormous shortage of them. Chip manufacturing facilities all around the world are closing down because of coronavirus. There's huge facilities in Malaysia, and they're making, I think, a big mistake by closing them down for coronavirus in this situation. It just means they're going to be basically disrupted by companies, by some of these 22,000 chip manufacturing companies in China. Auto companies will have no other choice than to pivot and move elsewhere. So the company will shortly open its new Xi'an Semiconductor R&D Center. The focus will be on automotive grade chips, the market for which is growing at 30% per annum. There will also be expansion into chips for domestic appliances, consumer electronics, and new energy products. In addition, BYD has an ongoing joint venture with Huawei for development of the Kern 710A chip. Now, I believe this chip market actually is will be far bigger than what anyone is currently predicting because of robotics. I believe that robotics are the next great industry which are going to explode over the next 10 to 15 years. And I believe the number of chips needed for the robotics that are going to exist, whether that's robots as workers, robots as services, whatever they are, is going to be absolutely astronomical. So the good news keeps on coming. Electric trucks are a somewhat low-key but strong growth industry. BYD has supplied 14,000 worldwide and is, I believe, the world leader currently. In August, Red Hook Container Terminals commissioned 10 new electric yard tractors for use with the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. Their electric garbage trucks are starting to gain traction after a slow start. Their vans, led by the new T3, are undergoing trials for government entities in Singapore and elsewhere. Now, their vans, remember, are clearly, right now, as of today, in parity with ICE. They are the only EV manufacturer of vans in the world that sells their vans at the same cost as the cost of an ICE van. The same exact cost. That is huge. Now in Class 8 trucks, they are ahead of most of their rivals, such as the Tesla Semi in terms of current development and deployment. They recently posted on Twitter their close relationship with Anheuser-Busch, as in they're currently selling their EV trucks to Anheuser-Busch right now. E-bus orders and deliveries just keep on coming for BYD as well. They have over 60,000 so far. In August, the company delivered a further 76 e-buses to Finnish operator Nobina as part of an order for 120 e-buses worth over $60 million US. Now in July, BYD and their UK partner Alexander Dennis Limited signed an agreement with the National Transport Authority of Ireland for 200 electric buses, probably worth over $100 million US. August saw the first BYD vehicles on sale in Europe, in Norway, and this is the start of a huge BYD market in Europe. Absolutely astronomical. I'm telling you now, this is an enormous market that BYD are going to tap in a way that they even don't fully comprehend right now. Now, the company has shipped 600 Tangs, BYD Tangs, to Norway so far, and is targeting to ship 1,500 of these by the end of the year. The first vehicles were also sold in Australia, another export market, which is just the beginning for BYD. BYD is going to absolutely crush the Australian market, and in my view, I believe will become a top 5 car seller in Australia and New Zealand by the end of 2022. At present, the company is being quite selective in its export markets. Some would say overcautious. I agree, they are being overcautious without a doubt. Certain countries where it does business in other products have been targeted, an example of the advantages of vertical integration. For instance, they recently supplied a taxi order in Chile. When we're looking at South America, the company has already supplied 45 e-buses to the country and has businesses throughout South America. They also are building a light rail in Brazil and trains, electric trains in Brazil as well. Now in Q2 in China, the company sold 100,000 new energy vehicles, of which 55,000 were fully electric. This makes them the highest value EV supplier in China. They delivered 42,000 ICE vehicles during that period. Their hybrid sales soared on the back of new hybrid DMI super hybrid technology. In the first 6 months of the year, the auto sales in total rose 55% versus the same period last year. Their NEV sales, new energy vehicle sales, rose 154%. In the month of July, the production of electric vehicles increased 112% year on year, and those of plug-in hybrids by 470%. Recently published figures show that for the first 7 months of the year, BYD had 15% of the plug-in vehicle market in China. 15%. And this is even before BYD's huge range of new electric vehicles, which are far better than their old ones, hit the market. Before. We're about to see them take at least 20% of the NEV vehicle market in China. One of the reasons for this month, BYD launched their new lower cost EA1 or the BYD Dolphin, based on their new e-platform 3.0. The company is targeting 10,000 sales per month. I believe they'll hit that even in Australia, New Zealand, and the UK alone, ignoring this Chinese sales figures. Sales for this EA1 are going to be far greater than BYD even predict themselves. Now remember, the ICE business is declining as a proportion of total auto sales worldwide. And significantly, this can be also seen in BYD's sales. BYD's proportion of ICE vehicle sales is declining while their electric vehicle sales are increasing. BYD's stock price. The company will be continuing its capex expenditure and therefore debt is an issue. The balance sheet is very strong though. As of the end of March, the company's debt of 7.7 billion was down from 76.7 billion or US 11 billion. So it was down from 11 billion to 7 billion. Against this, they had cash of 4.5 billion US dollars and receivables within 1 year of 8.3 billion. This is reasonable against a market cap at that time of US 100 billion. That market cap figure is now much, much higher. Net debt to EBITDA was a healthy 0.95. They have had more free cash flow than EBIT for the past 3 years. Now, during those 3 years, remember, they've been innovating. They've been innovating making the blade battery. They've been innovating by making many different electric vehicle parts. So they haven't been standing still like many other automakers have. They've been transforming their business from an ICE-based big business to a battery-powered business. Earnings per share have been growing at 14% per annum for the past 3 years, and insiders own 30% of the company's stock, which is a healthy sign. Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway have been long-term shareholders since 2010, and they own 8.2% of the business. Management remuneration is fair and reasonable. Unlike many US companies, share buybacks are not being used as a means to create soaring executive pay. The company finances indicate the company is using funds to invest in long-term growth. This is of huge benefit to long-term shareholders. Now, even though BYD is at an all-time high in terms of its price, it also has the potential to rise substantially thanks to its future plans. Now, analysts are positive on yet further stock price appreciation based on revenue growth. Much of this is based on rising vehicle sales. They are expected to achieve 600,000 vehicle sales this year, 820,000 in 2022, and 1 million in 2023. I think these numbers are extremely conservative. Batteries and semiconductors are, however, perhaps even more key value generator for the company. Their growth potential may be underestimated by the market. Unfortunately, though, the company does not currently disclose a breakdown of revenues and profits on a division-by-division basis. To conclude, BYD's vertical integration extends further to energy storage, PV manufacture, Sky Rail, electronic transport system. It's interesting to see that the biggest competitor in China is wisely attempting to emulate. Tesla are a little bit behind BYD in this area, but they are definitely trending in the right direction. Remember, the battery cost is the largest cost component of an EV. The chips are the second largest component. BYD's control of these key areas gives them a tremendous advantage in the auto industry, which is scouring the world for batteries and chips right now. This is only going to get worse over the next decade. Although other sectors of BYD continue to grow, autos remain their key revenue generator. The likes of Volkswagen, Stellantis, and NIO are nowhere near in this ballpark. BYD's new models can piggyback to strong sales against rivals unable to achieve full production due to these shortages. Remember, BYD is currently able to sell their vehicles. They are the only company in the world able to sell their vehicles on parity with ICE vehicles. They can sell their electric vehicles right now on parity with ICE. That is their key advantage over every other automaker. This makes BYD stock a great long-term buy, still, even despite its price rises. I believe BYD are the kind of company which the Chinese government will be backing for the future. So, if there's any downturn based on fears of Chinese government action, this is a buying opportunity. Take advantage of it when it happens. Thanks for watching the video. I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Bye-bye.